is this going to change the way money happens for us in the near future, Mike? Do you believe in cryptocurrency as the future of it?
That's a very complicated issue that I don't actually fully understand. I'm not prepared to speak on cryptocurrencies in general. I will tell you, I've been collecting crypto for a few years. I don't have a life-changing amount of crypto at this moment. It's just something I'm interested in, and it's a hobby. And I'm excited about the space because I think that the promises and the benefits of the technology that's being developed. If you want to do yourself a favor and understand something about this, look up Web 3.0 and the metaverse. The idea that, if you've heard of the movie and the book Ready Player One, like if you have the idea of there is a digital universe in which we exist, that includes our avatars, that includes our online personalities. Maybe we've got multiple online personalities. Maybe we've got multiple accounts, and some people act differently on their different accounts. There have even been jokes made, memes about like how you act on Facebook where your family is paying attention, and then how you act on like TikTok where your friends are watching, right? Like people act differently for different groups, and those are different digital identities that link back to the same human.
How is Mike Shinoda doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. I was just checking out your interview with Fantano. That start was just amazing,
I wanted to give him, I thought of going in harder and like really giving it to him right off the bat, but he's smart and he diffused it. He diffused it before I could get started. I think he's really great. So I only joke.
Yeah, quite a pro, in fact. I thought it was amazing, and the way he conducted the whole interview was great. Mike, let's talk about the new song. Let's talk about happy endings first, and let's talk about the collaborations, how you picked them and why you picked them and when you picked them, the whole thing.
I heard from a friend that they said, I know you're doing some writing. Like, have you met this girl, Taylor Upsall? She's great. I think you guys would write cool stuff together. And I kind of didn't pay attention. And then friend Sam Ronson, we had been talking about doing something.
Samantha
Ronson, yeah.
Cool.
And she and her co-writer Pete are great. And we had been talking about writing. And she said, I think she was the one who said, like, have you heard this girl, Taylor Upsall? And I was like, dude, that's funny that you mentioned that, because somebody else just said her name. So we ended up getting together on a Zoom, and we wrote the song via Zoom. I mean, it was like a really, I haven't done that many Zoom sessions, and it was actually a lot of fun with them. Like we're a great, have a great chemistry. And this song topic was the thing on all of our mind. Like I've heard a bunch of songs that are like about how bad 2020 was, but a lot of them are kind of like dark and depressing or angry. And I was like, I don't want to write dark, depressing, angry. Like this group of people is having fun. Like it's just like, what are you going to do? Like 2020 was garbage and whatever, like move on, So this is kind of how we approached it. It wasn't the topic as it was like, how do you, it wasn't what you said. It's like, how do you say it?
What's it been like to work via Zoom? I know you just said you haven't done it as many times, but what's it been like as opposed to, everything that you've gone through and you've been through and you produced over the course of 20 years?
It's not that bad. Like once you get used to it, it can be really, like productive. There's actually, for me, there's one very distinct advantage of Zoom. And that is like in the middle of a session, I often need to like shut out everybody else and just think. And sometimes like when I'm trying to come up with a concept, or if I have something in my head that I need to get down, if I'm in a live session, then I'll walk out of the room to do that. Just go out with a guitar, go to where there's a piano, and like shut the door and like think. And then I'll come back in the room and go, okay, here's my idea. In the case of a Zoom one, you just put them on mute. So that's great. It's like super easy. You just mute you. And then like, I can like write my thing and then come back and be like, okay, like, how does this sound? Is this cool or is this stupid? Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Tell me about Twitch. You've been working on Twitch for quite a while. How long have you been in that community, and what's it been like? What are the benefits and everything that you've experienced?
I've been on Twitch for about a year. It's been about a year that I've been on, and last year I did all instrumental tracks. So my thing is that I do a brand new song, a brand new creation. I create something every day from scratch, 5 days a week. So last year I did mostly instrumental tracks, a little bit of art, drawing and stuff. And this year I've been doing production streams with vocals by fans. So if one of your listeners or somebody who was interested in doing this, the fans post songs original songs that they've sung and they've written, and use the hashtag Shinoda produce me. And then we look on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at the hashtag and see the stuff that I gravitate towards. And whatever I pick, I reach out to that person, I get their vocal, I produce the song from scratch on the Twitch channel live. And then at the end of it, I give them their track, fully mastered, mixed, with stems. And then they can do whatever they want with it. Everybody so far has just released the track. Like they turn it around, and we've got now 4 songs out, but there's another over 10. I think there's probably like 11 or 12 now that are in the pipeline, coming out. All by different artists, different genres, different places in the world. Super fun.
That is crazy to get your song produced by Mike Shinoda. I mean, who would have thought this would happen, 3
of them a week. Like, I'm doing so much. I'm doing so many things.
I know you're doing NFTs, and you're the perfect person to explain to me what this whole thing's about, because I really have no clue about cryptocurrency. And, if I could hear it from you, it'd be great, because I don't really get it. What's the whole deal?
Idea of an NFT, like in terms of cryptocurrency and blockchain and NFT, part of the thing that is interesting to people is that it's a digital file that you can, that the ownership of it is linked to a person, and it's public and it's transferable. What's interesting about that is, like, you can prove the ownership and prove its transfer over time. So let me just give you an example that'll help you understand. So, like, the streamer, the video game streamer Ninja, right?
Yeah.
So let's say Ninja had a Fortnite skin that he wore, and he played like the sickest, like, competitive game you've ever seen. Like, everyone's like, "Oh my God, did you see what Ninja did in the championship? It's bananas. Like, I've never seen anything like it. It's the most famous video game clip of all time." Well, he was wearing the skin. After the stream, he can sell the skin. And then let's say you buy it. And let's say you buy it. You can actually prove that he owned it and that you own it, and it has a value. And then Ninja sold it to you for $150 or whatever, $150 million. I don't know. Like, you can prove that transfer of ownership. And even in 100 years, like, you theoretically can prove, like, yeah, this thing was the skin used in that world famous event. And then it transferred ownership 67 times, and it ended up at you. If you think about a Michael Jordan basketball, it's, oh, this ball got used in the championship, NBA championship, and then Michael Jordan signed it, and then I bought it. Like, after that ball changes hands a couple times, you can't really prove that the ball you got is really the one. It's hard to prove. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So that's an important element. The other thing is just like it also, these auctions for an NFT. So somebody creates a piece of art, they put it up online.
I just heard of one that was like $60 million, man. I mean, it's freaking crazy.
A Beeple drop sold for $69 million with Christie's art auctions. That is the number 3 biggest auction price by a living artist of all time. So he is now in the top 3 of art prices, art sales of all time.
That is crazy. That's crazy. I mean, that's nuts.
So it forces everybody to come to grips with the idea that, number one, a piece of art doesn't have to be a thing that you put on your wall. It doesn't have to be. And they go, like, people go, well, I don't understand. Like, why does it have value if I can't put it in my room? Well, like, a song has value. You can't put that in your room. Like, there is art out there that doesn't, it's not about touching it. It's not about like having a physical item. It's about the concept of it, and it's about the concept of ownership. So what he's selling is the concept, is the ownership of the thing. Everybody can have it. I've been joking with my friends. I'm gonna just download his piece and just put it on my screensaver. It doesn't matter because I don't own it, right?
Is this going to change the way money happens for us in the near future, Mike? Do you believe in cryptocurrency as the future of it?
That's a very complicated issue that I don't actually fully understand. I'm not prepared to speak on cryptocurrencies in general. I will tell you, I've been collecting crypto for a few years. I don't have a life-changing amount of crypto at this moment. It's just something I'm interested in, and it's a hobby. And I'm excited about the space because I think that the promises and the benefits of the technology that's being developed. If you want to do yourself a favor and understand something about this, look up Web 3.0 and the metaverse. The idea that, if you've heard of the movie and the book Ready Player One, like, if you have the idea of there is a digital universe in which we exist, that includes our avatars, that includes our online personalities. Maybe we've got multiple online personalities. Maybe we've got multiple accounts, and some people act differently on their different accounts. There have even been jokes made, memes about like how you act on Facebook where your family is paying attention, and then how you act on like TikTok where your friends are watching, right? Like, people act differently for different groups, and those are different digital identities that link back to the same human. We all have these different digital identities and different places where we go to interact. The promise of when we say Web 3 versus Web 2, Web 2 is a place where we have the problems like Facebook owning a lot of your private information and monetizing you. You're the thing they're selling to an ad company. That's an idea that a lot of people find problematic. We don't like the idea that these huge corporations are using us, they're selling us. And so the idea of Web 3, which is to say the next version of the internet, is to create a version of the internet where we have ownership over our own private information, and we don't get used by platforms in that way, that they would be required to treat us in a way that allows us to, manage our personalities, manage our public information. Even the idea that, like, with cryptocurrency, that you can track where a dollar or where a token comes from and where it goes to, and you can see it's all public.
Mike, I got a couple more questions. I got a few more minutes with you, but I want to ask you about that particular thing before we finish with some, questions about music regarding privacy and regulation. Do you think governments, is it up to governments for that to happen? To own your private information, like you said.
So that's such a big topic that we don't have time. I'm not going to give a 1 minute answer on like government regulation of privacy. I'll tell you that, like, as an artist, let me speak as an artist, that the idea of an entity standing in between the creator and the fan. So this goes outside of the privacy element a little bit, but the idea of somebody standing in between the creator and the fan, I don't mind somebody providing value and standing in that position. It's as simple as like, oh, I want to have a website for my fans to interact with my material, and I don't know how to build a website. So I pay you, you create the website, and now step out of the way, right? That's different than Facebook, for example, where when Facebook was starting, we brought value to Facebook. We were Linkin Park is still the biggest band on Facebook. And then at a certain point in between two albums, we released an album, went on tour, made a new album. We said, okay, we're ready to go promote our new album. Like, what's our plan for Facebook? And everybody said, oh, I'm sorry. Like, in the past year, what you don't know is Facebook has turned on an ad revenue model, and now you have to pay to talk to your fans. We were like, okay, well, like, how many fans do we get to talk to if we don't pay? And they're like, basically none. It's like a tiny percentage. And we said, okay, well, how much does it cost to talk to our fans? They said the price of a Super Bowl ad for one post. And we went, are you joking? And they said, no, not joking. So the algorithms that have gotten set up, the expectation that you have to pay to talk to people who have followed you. If I follow you, it's because I want to hear your information. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to know about your new releases. For anybody to stand in between that and just decide to turn on a paywall, I find that to be inappropriate. So that's the thing when it comes to the next version of the internet that I think a lot of us are looking away from. Especially when it comes to if you now apply like personal information to that equation, that like anybody who would be saying like our default mode is to sell your information and you can jump through these hoops to opt out of it. That's crazy.
Mike, what do you see in music that interests you right now?
I'm always listening to music. I am always I have a very active playlist, multiple playlists of new stuff. I can tell you, I don't know, what am I listening to this week? I've been talking about it a little bit. Toby Nwigwe, Tizo Touchdown, a girl named Maisie. Ian Dior has a new track. Like Mike Shinoda, Ian Dior, and Upsall have a new track together.
All right, man.
I'm also producing stuff on my Twitch stream, like a lot of brand new artists on my Twitch stream that, using the hashtag Shinoda produce me, where all of this new stuff is constantly coming out and producing fan tracks and constantly releasing them.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for taking the time, Mike. It's been great talking to you, knowing you. We've been fans for over 20 years. We missed out on a big Linkin Park show. We hope it happens sometime in the near future. Well, everything's locked down now, but we don't lose hope, and I guess that's the most important thing. Thank you for Happy Endings. It's a beautiful song. We're going to be playing it here at the X 103.9 FM, and of course, we're going to be talking a lot about Shinoda Produce. Thank you. Once again, have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.